Hey everybody, this is Christopher Small. I'm the owner of CMS Law Firm. We do estate planning, we do probate, and we do it really, really well. This is another episode of Estate Planning TV, the internet's most passionate show about estate planning. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for listening. Hope that you get a lot out of these episodes and learn a little bit and hopefully take a little bit away, right? The goal of this show is to educate you about estate planning, get you thinking about maybe legacy and generational wealth in a different way, maybe ease your fear when it comes to estate planning, when it comes to estate taxes, when it comes to everything that revolves around estate planning. You know, that's the whole point of these videos. And today, I sort of want to give you a little bit of tough love, maybe it's not a rant, but I want to put a new spin on the way that you think about solving your legal problems. Actually, the way that you think about solving all of your problems. And this is sort of an approach that I bring to my life, and it's an approach that I often have with potential clients when they are struggling to determine, like whether or not they should be spending money on their legal services or what they want to do. And the best way to sort of to provide the correct perspective on this, is to tell a story that I actually experienced yesterday. I was talking on the phone with a couple of potential clients, and they were explaining to me these problems that they were having with a trust that one of their parents had created, and it was a trust that was created via a will. Actually, it was not. It was a trust that was created. So we're going to get a little into the details here real quick, as much as we can, to give you some context. But essentially, there was a trust created, and there was an old will, and there was a new will. And when the parent passed away, not everything had gotten into the trust correctly. The original will was probated, and then the new will was discovered. And so there are sort of, and then there's a trustee that not everyone is happy with, and that they don't think is doing a good job, mostly because they are inexperienced, maybe don't really know what they're doing, and are not managing what amounts to a business very well. So there are like a tremendous amount of different problems going on, at least in the eyes of this potential client, which is fine. And so after talking to them for probably 25 minutes, and really getting a sense of what's going on, I realized two things pretty quickly were going on. A, they had what they thought were some very significant problems that were going to be affecting them relatively significantly if these problems actually came to fruition in the way that they thought they would. And two, they were hesitant about hiring anyone to help them. And at the end of the day, what I basically said was, okay, let's pause here for a moment, and I want you to tell me what solving this problem is worth to you. Okay? What are you willing to pay to have this problem solved? And they said, well, we talked to some attorneys, and we're not real sure about fees. We don't really have a budget. And I said, okay, I'm not talking about the budget that you want to have for attorney's fees. I'm talking about, if this problem, what would you pay right now? If you could just make up a number, what would you pay to have this problem solved, to have it fixed exactly the way that you want? Would it be $1,000? Would it be $5,000? Would it be $10,000? Just what's the number that you would pay? And what I told them was, I said, look, your particular problem at this point in time, my firm doesn't even do. Okay, I don't like to do a lot of litigation, so when those kind of cases come in, I don't take them. I was just talking to them literally to provide them some guidance and some help and sort of lead them in the right direction. And so I said, look, I'm not going to use this number that you give me as some sort of a budget or just like a floor or a ceiling to work off of as far as fees go. I'm going to tell you up front, I'm not going to help you with this. But I want you to put this in the proper perspective, so as you approach the problem, it gets solved in a way that I guess leaves you satisfied and provides the value that you are seeking. And basically, what I said was, okay, now that we've gotten that out of the way, There's no worry that I'm going to be like sneaky and use this number against you. What is the number? And they still had a hard time coming up with it. And I said, okay, let's do it this way. You have a certain share of this trust or a certain share of this estate that could be coming to you, and it could be going down to your kids, and could be potentially going even down to your grandkids in the future, and maybe on and on for several generations, right? And she said, yes, that's true. And I said, okay, and what do you think that is worth? What's the value of the share of your estate? And she said a pretty big number. Okay, it was a relatively large number, and I think that's kind of what's causing a lot of the stress, the anxiety with this whole situation, is that they think that someone is sort of in charge of this valuable asset that's not doing a good job for several reasons, right? Which are beside the point. So I said, okay, let's say your share is worth like $200,000. Okay, is it worth it to pay $10,000 to have your $200,000 problem solved? And she said, well, yeah. And I said, I agree. I agree with you 100%. And, so often I think what we do when we approach not just legal services, but anything that we're going to be sort of paying for in life, is that we misidentify what we're looking at as a true expense versus an investment in an outcome. And when you look at the two things in different ways, then it is much easier to see the value that you're getting with the investment that you're making. For example, let's talk about just estate planning services in general. Let's say you just get a basic will package done and it costs you $1,000. Okay, you may say, gosh, that's $1,000 out of my pocket. But if you say, okay, well, what's it worth to me to know that I have named my long-term guardians correctly, that I have named the personal representative that I want to name, that if I'm ever in an accident, the right people are going to be taking care of my life and my children and my assets. Like, what's that worth? Okay? To make sure that it's done right, to make sure that I haven't forgotten anything, to make sure that all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. Like, what would that be worth to you? And here's the thing. If that number is over $1,000, then congratulations, you're getting a great deal. If that number is under $1,000, then you need to go look for a different solution, right? I'm not trying to persuade you into paying more. I'm just trying to persuade you to look at things in a different way and to see many of these things that you are paying for in your life as investments instead of true like costs. That's why people will pay a lot of money to go on a vacation. It's because they see that as an investment in their family. They see it as an investment in sort of their memories, right? So that's the way that I would suggest that you approach a lot of these different things that you're doing. If you do it that way, not only will you feel better about the money that you're spending, which is good, but it will also be easier to sort of earmark what your actual number is. Because if you're honest with yourself, even if you don't disclose that number to anyone, then you really know what you're willing to pay for the service. And I think what you'll find is if you hire the right people, if you get into the right circumstances, that you'll often find that you are getting a value for the money that you're paying. For example, in my firm, whatever price that we charge for a service, I'm always trying to give like at least 2x, 5x type of a service, to where when you walk away, you feel like, wow, I really got my money's worth. This investment was worth it. It paid off. The experience was amazing, and I'd be happy to do it all over again if I had to do it, right? So anyway, as you approach events in your life, as things come up, please take the opportunity, if it is the correct place to do it, to think of things in terms of an investment and not a cost. All right. Thank you once again, I guess. I've already said it. I'm Christopher Small. I'm the owner of CMS Law Firm. We do estate planning. We do probate. If you need help, we'd love to help you. You can call us at 206-659-1512 or Chris at CMS Law Firm. I will talk to you very soon.